Patricia Heaton's journey through the world of fame is far from a simple success story. Born into a home alive with the energy of sports legends and media figures, she learned early on the allure and pressure of being seen. Those childhood performances, the relentless practicing before mirrors, all hinted at a hunger that would push her far beyond the comfortable rhythms of her Midwestern upbringing. The reality behind the scenes was harsher than the spotlight she chased, a messy, uncertain world of early TV chaos and relentless hustle that would test her in ways no applause could soften. From a struggling actress in a cramped New York apartment to a recognizable face on television, every step carried its own weight of sacrifice and quiet determination. The path was riddled with setbacks masked by smiles and roles that barely skimmed the surface of her talent. The fleeting joys of television success, the heartbreak of cancellations, and the loneliness that comes from standing out in a sea of voices created a complex weave of triumph and struggle. Even as she became the beloved Deborah Barone, the demands of motherhood and hidden battles threatened to unravel her carefully balanced life. There were moments of darkness behind the laughter, moments where the line between strength and vulnerability blurred. It ended, yes, but not without meaning. There were smiles and tears. Sometimes, goodbye comes with gratitude, and through it all, Patricia's story reveals the beauty and cost of endurance. Patricia Heaton's life was shaped by a restless ambition rooted deep in childhood. Growing up in a house alive with the pulse of Cleveland's sports and media scene, she was surrounded by stories of public triumph and private struggle. Her father's career as a legendary sports journalist brought a parade of athletes and broadcasters into their home, offering Patricia a front-row seat to the world she longed to join. Even as a young girl, she practiced mimicry and command, rehearsing gestures and speech in front of the mirror, already reaching for a spotlight that felt both distant and inevitable. By 16, her early break at WJW-TV uncovered a truth that was both humbling and inspiring. The polished world of television was stitched with moments of chaos, mistakes, and imperfection. This raw authenticity fueled rather than deterred her, anchoring a resolve that would carry her far from Ohio. In 1982, that resolve took the form of a bold, solitary move to New York City. With nothing but a worn Honda Civic and $800 in savings, Patricia stepped into a grueling new reality. Hell's Kitchen's threadbare apartments and shared bathrooms became her home, a place where survival depended on odd jobs and unrelenting hustle. Waitressing and telemarketing filled the hours between acting classes, where the demand for emotional honesty stripped away every layer of her Midwestern politeness. The transformation was painful and slow, confronting vulnerability until it sharpened into raw power. Her first theatrical credits came not with acclaim or comfort, but with the camaraderie and sacrifice of small productions. The brief existence of Stage 3 Theater Company symbolized both the promise and fragility of her early career, a foundation for a future yet to be claimed. The shift to Los Angeles brought a new rhythm and new challenges. Patricia's television work, though steady, was marked by a frustrating patchwork of cancellations and disappointments. Roles in Someone Like Me and Women of the House ended prematurely, earning her a reputation that shadowed her efforts. Yet, amidst this turbulence, she found moments that revealed her depth. A single episode in Party of Five showed her capacity for gravitas beyond comedy. Small parts in films like Beethoven and Space Jam kept her afloat, but did little to ignite the star she sought. Her persistence paid off when she landed Deborah Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond. The role was more than a breakthrough. It was a turning point. The genuine chemistry captured on screen, including a spontaneous kiss with Ray Romano, gave the character life beyond the script, and the show's rise from modest beginnings to Emmy-winning acclaim reflected Patricia's own ascent. But success came at a personal cost. Behind the laughter and acclaim, Patricia's life was shadowed by exhaustion and a quiet battle with alcoholism. The long days on set, combined with the demands of new motherhood, fostered a destructive coping mechanism carefully hidden from colleagues and fans alike. The isolation deepened with her outspoken conservative views, which clashed with Hollywood's prevailing culture, narrowing her opportunities and intensifying her sense of solitude. It was only after a humiliating moment during Thanksgiving in 2018, witnessed by her own children, that Patricia confronted the reality she had long avoided. The decision to quit drinking cold turkey marked a painful but hopeful turning point, rooted in her steadfast Catholic faith. Her sobriety became an act of surrender and renewal, carrying her through the darkness with prayer and quiet strength. This chapter of struggle and redemption reveals a woman shaped not only by fame but by resilience, a story of endurance, transformation, and the complex journey toward peace. Behind the bright lights and celebrated roles, Patricia Heaton's life was quietly unraveling. The facade of comedic brilliance masked a relentless exhaustion born from juggling the fierce demands of primetime television and the tender needs of an infant at home. Days blurred into nights filled with long hours on set, followed by a return to motherhood's ceaseless care. The pressure mounted silently until it found release in a daily ritual she guarded fiercely, a pattern of drinking that began almost innocuously but spiraled into a quiet dependency. This struggle was carefully concealed beneath a veneer of professionalism. Even the most attentive colleagues, including Ray Romano, remained unaware. Patricia's commitment to her craft never wavered, delivering lines flawlessly despite the toll exacted by hidden battles fought in the shadows. The contradiction between her public success and private turmoil deepened, painting a picture of a woman caught between brilliance and breakdown. Compounding this inner strife was the isolation wrought by her outspoken beliefs, which set her apart in the liberal-leaning entertainment world. Patricia's conservative, pro-life stance was not merely a political position but a core part of her identity, rooted deeply in her Catholic faith. This conviction, while grounding, also became a source of professional alienation. Industry insiders grew wary, warnings circulated about her diminishing prospects, and the invitations to leading roles dried up between 2013 and 2017. The rejection felt like a slow erosion, a stripping away of opportunity that coincided painfully with her personal battles. Yet, she remained unyielding, steadfast in her values even as the cost became clear. The solitude intensified, and with fewer doors opening, alcohol morphed from a coping mechanism to a fragile lifeline amid the growing sense of exclusion. The tension between personal integrity and professional survival weighed heavily, adding layers of complexity to an already fraught existence. The breaking point came quietly but unmistakably on a Thanksgiving day in 2018. Surrounded by family, the day unfolded with a tension that would soon reach a painful crescendo. Patricia's drinking, which had long been a private secret, spilled into the open in a way that could no longer be hidden. The shame was sharp and immediate as she struggled to finish sentences, a moment witnessed by her children, whose mortification was palpable. The confrontation with this reality shattered the carefully maintained illusion and forced a reckoning that had been delayed too long. The following day marked a decisive turn. Patricia chose to quit drinking cold turkey, abandoning years of failed attempts in favor of a stark, unwavering commitment to change. The road ahead promised no easy relief, only the difficult clarity that accompanies true surrender. It was a step taken not through willpower alone but through the profound support of her faith, a belief that suffering held meaning and redemption was possible. Sobriety became a journey not just of physical healing, but of spiritual renewal. Patricia's Catholic faith, instilled from childhood, emerged as the cornerstone of her recovery. Rather than viewing sobriety as punishment, she embraced it as an act of surrender to a higher plan, finding strength in prayer and the quiet assurance of divine guidance. This faith sustained her through withdrawal and temptation, replacing desire with peace and fear with hope. The change radiated beyond personal health, rekindling her relationships and redefining her sense of self. It was a rebirth forged in humility and grace, a testament to the power of honesty and vulnerability. Patricia's story, once shadowed by stigma and silence, transformed into a narrative of courage, the courage to face pain openly, to seek forgiveness, and to walk forward with a renewed heart. In this chapter of struggle and redemption, The complexity of her journey reveals a woman who endured not only the harsh lights of fame, but the darker shadows within, emerging whole and quietly triumphant. The path to recovery was neither swift nor easy, yet Patricia Heaton's commitment to sobriety became a quiet testament to her resilience and faith. The years spent balancing motherhood, career, and addiction left marks that could not be erased but could be understood and managed. Her steadfast Catholic beliefs provided not only a spiritual anchor, but also a lens through which to interpret suffering and renewal. Rather than viewing her journey as a failure or an end, she embraced it as a continuous process of transformation. The hard-won clarity allowed her to rebuild relationships with her family, especially her sons, who had witnessed both her lowest moments and her brave resurgence. These bonds, once strained by secrecy and shame, grew stronger through honesty and forgiveness, marking a new chapter grounded in vulnerability and mutual respect. Professionally, Patricia's story defied the common narrative of decline after personal turmoil. Instead of retreating from the spotlight, she continued to work with a quiet determination that spoke of endurance and growth. Her leading role in The Middle showcased not just her comedic timing but a deepened emotional intelligence shaped by her lived experience. Balancing life between Burbank and Cambridge, she carried the weight of demanding schedules with a discipline that echoed her earlier years, but was now tempered by wisdom and self-awareness. This transatlantic routine symbolized her unwavering dedication to family and craft, a testament to the complex reality of maintaining connection amid personal and professional upheaval. It was a life lived fully, embracing imperfection without surrender. Recognition came in many forms, none more meaningful than the star she received on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2012. The ceremony gathered the cast and crew of her most beloved shows, a moment that crystallized decades of perseverance, reinvention, and impact. Yet, beneath the public applause lay a narrative seldom told, a story of private battles, quiet endurance, and the power of faith to carry through hardship. Patricia's humor, once a shield, evolved into a source of healing and connection, allowing her to navigate the complexities of life with grace. Her willingness to confront addiction openly transformed her from a distant figure of entertainment into a relatable model of hope and strength. The legacy she built is not only found in Emmy Awards or sitcom milestones, but in the courage to live authentically amid adversity. Patricia Heaton's journey is a tapestry woven from triumphs and trials, laughter and tears, faith and doubt. The story did not end with stardom alone, but with the profound understanding that true success lies in survival and renewal. It ended, yes, but not without meaning. Sometimes, goodbye comes with gratitude, and through every challenge, she carried the core values shaped in her Ohio childhood: the power of family, the rigor of discipline, and the sustaining light of prayer. This is a story not just of a career, but of a woman who faced her shadows and chose to step forward, living quietly and boldly in her own truth.